Before we talk about Stoic habits, it's safe to say that many people find it hard to deal with the world around them. Nowadays, we receive a lot of information, different opinions, things we should do, and pressure to do well or act in a specific manner. Life is getting more complicated and we don't have enough space to relax. It's easy to understand why our mental health might suffer. Handling our job, friendships, money problems, and how busy we are in life can be difficult if we don't actively take control of them. Feeling stressed, burned out, or anxious is common when these things start to become too much for us. Maybe we're unable to sleep because we're worried about what will happen in the future. Some people may find it hard to find a balance between work and taking time to relax when they have a lot of things to do. Some people have trouble talking kindly to themselves and feeling good about themselves. They may also have trouble finding meaning in life or feeling happy in their everyday life. This can all happen if we don't handle the pressures of life and aren't careful about how we see and think about the things that happen to us. What can we do to fix this problem? Both of us started with empty minds, beliefs, and values when we were born. As we got older, we learned more about the world. We had both good and bad experiences. We read books, watched movies, made friends, had arguments, tried different foods, tripped, and got back up again. All these things influence who we become, for good or for bad. But we often don't get to choose what we are exposed to. A lot of things can be unpredictable and might be influenced by where we live, our parents, our school, the people around us, or the politics, economics, and social situation of our country. Much of it is just luck. I think that luck is not a good way to determine our identity. It could go either way, either good or bad. By its very definition, it is not our responsibility/control/decision. This means that we can become either a positive and well-managed person or a negative and unstable person. I believe that a good way to shape ourselves is to be intentional about it and reduce, or even change, the impact of luck. We have the power to doubt our beliefs, determine our own principles, choose carefully who we spend time with, read what we like, listen to what we enjoy, and slowly change ourselves from being influenced by luck to being influenced by purposeful and intentional decisions. To achieve this goal, here are 5 Stoic habits that have greatly affected my life. Acceptance. Before we agree with something, I want to clarify a misunderstanding about the idea. In this situation, accepting doesn't mean giving up and letting life control you without doing anything. When we use the word acceptance, we do not mean completely giving in or giving up. In the Book of 5 Rings, Miyamoto Musashi, a swordsman from Japan, wrote, "The truth is not what you wish it to be. It simply exists as it is. And you need to obey its authority, or pretend to be someone you're not." This is the core of what we mean when we say acceptance. Sometimes in life, there are things we cannot control. When we come across these things, we have 2 choices. We understand and accept them just the way they are. We know that no matter how hard we try to make them different. Next, we examine the parts of our lives that we have power over and concentrate our attention and energy on them. We strongly oppose or stand against them. We try to change the way things really are by lying to ourselves and putting a lot of effort into something that we can't actually change. The philosopher Epictetus, who followed the Stoic philosophy, said something. Don't try to make things happen exactly how you want them to. Instead, hope that whatever happens, happens naturally. This will bring you happiness. The Stoics believe that many things that happen around us are beyond our control. What we can control is how we react to it. We can learn to accept what happens as a part of nature, see the good things in situations, not spend too much time wishing things were different, and use what we can control to make things better when we are in a tough spot. When we don't accept the world around us, we attach ourselves to things we can't control. This can make us upset and waste our time and energy instead of using them for something more useful. Memento Mori. Memento Mori might appear a little gloomy. It means remember that you will die in easier words. A not very happy way of thinking about life. But when we think about it more, Memento Mori can make everyday life more exciting. It can make our love stronger, make us focus more on the moment, make us appreciate the things we like, and give us a new perspective on life. In his personal book, which is now called Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "Pause what you're doing and think, am I scared of death because I won't be able to do this anymore?" If we can accept death and not be afraid of it, we can use the fact that life is short to appreciate what we have and live in the present. There will come a time when you wake up and do all your favorite things one last time before you pass away. When we know about this, it has a bigger effect. Voluntary discomfort. Next, we will be discussing the idea of choosing to experience discomfort willingly. This might be a bit challenging at first, but if you stick with it, you'll soon start to notice the positive results. The Stoics believed in doing things that made them intentionally uncomfortable. The Stoic philosopher and Roman politician Seneca loved swimming in rivers and cold water. He enjoyed taking cold baths and would start the new year by diving into the canal. Just like how I naturally start my day with reading, writing, or giving a speech, Seneca would begin the year by jumping into the Virgo aqueduct at the Roman baths. In Meditations, Marcus Aurelius encourages himself to wake up early and start the day. When struggling to get out of bed in the morning, remind yourself, I need to get up and fulfill my duties as a human being, like going to work. Why should I be unhappy if I do what I was meant to do in life? Am I meant to stay in bed and keep warm? Seneca wrote that we should set aside a few days where we are happy with very little food, cheap clothes, and not worry much. We should think to ourselves during this time, is this the worst condition I can imagine? It's actually important to toughen ourselves mentally during times when we're not stressed, so that we're prepared for difficult times in the future. And when things are going well, that's when we should prepare ourselves for when things might go wrong. During times of peace, the soldier practices military exercises and builds defensive structures without any enemies present. The soldier also exhausts themselves with extra work, so they will be prepared for future unavoidable tasks. If you want a person to stay calm during a difficult situation, teach them how to handle it before it happens. Discomfort can mean different things to different people, like challenging yourself at the gym, practicing martial arts, showering with cold water, going for a run, or eating simple food. The Stoics knew that always being comfortable is not good for us. As we get used to more and more comfort, we become less able to handle discomfort. This means that when we feel uncomfortable, it has a big effect on our overall health and happiness. Doing things that make us intentionally uncomfortable helps us become more tolerant and appreciate the things that make us comfortable because we understand how it feels to be without them. Personally, I intentionally make myself uncomfortable by going to the gym and taking cold showers. Sometimes I also try things like fasting and eating plain, tasteless food. As long as it makes you less comfortable, anything can work for you. Epictetus believed that Hercules needed challenging tasks, like fighting dangerous animals and criminals, in order to become strong and successful. Without these challenges, Hercules would have been lazy and unproductive. He would have just stayed in bed and slept all day. If he had just slept all the time in a fancy and comfortable way, he would have never grown up to become the strong and powerful Hercules. Being too comfortable can prevent us from trying new, challenging things. Remind yourself of what is within your control. If you've seen my previous writings, you might recall that I often discuss the concept of control, often mentioning it multiple times. There's a reason for this, and it's not that I don't have anything else to talk about. There is a cause for this, and it is not because I have nothing else to discuss. This happens when we make a mistake, and it can make us feel very frustrated, angry, hopeless, not able to do things well, and resentful. It is not a joyful place to be. When we do things correctly, we can easily overcome difficulties and problems. We quickly sort out and use what we have to make the best out of the situation. That's why I find Epictetus's idea of controlling what we can and letting go of the rest to be one of the most important and easy lessons from ancient times. In simpler terms, we have control over only a few things, like what we do, think, believe, and value. We cannot control anything else. This means that whenever something happens near us, we can observe it, understand it as it is, and then take responsibility for our actions to either make the situation better or leave. If we can't do either of these two things, we can try to change the way we see and understand things in order to reduce how much they bother us. We cannot always control what happens to us, but we can choose how we react to it. Meditation and reflection. To me, this is another easy tool that can make a big difference in our everyday lives. Many of us start our day, go to our job, return home, do housework, and organize our lives, spend time with family and friends, have meals, relax for a little while, then go to bed, wake up, and repeat the same routine. When we keep repeating things without organizing or thinking about them, it can lead to a buildup of problems like stress, unanswered questions, bad habits, and negative interactions. Over the course of time, when these things accumulate, they can start to diminish our mental well-being and even exhaust us. So, when we reflect and meditate, it not only helps us feel calm, but also helps us understand and let go of all the busy and chaotic things that happen during the day so they don't stay inside us and cause problems. Reflection is when we think back on our experiences and learn from them. It helps us grow and become better individuals. If we look closely at how we live our lives and how we react to things that happen to us, we can make smarter choices about what actions to keep doing and what actions to stop doing. How we handle this will vary from person to person. We can either write in a journal, like Marcus Aurelius, or we can take some time to think about the events of the day, reflecting on both the positive and negative aspects, as well as the reasons behind them. No matter what you do, taking time for self-reflection can really improve how we feel each day.